This is now my full card review for Oleksandr Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. Let's break all the fights down, starting with Solomon Dacres defeating Sirenko. Look, I thought Sirenko was going to knock him out, to be honest with you. Dacres absolutely schooled Sirenko, to be honest with you. Absolutely schooled him easily. I wasn't expecting that, but Dacres just boxed his ears off behind the jab. He was very good. He was moving backwards well. Sirenko was coming forward on the front foot, pushing Dacres literally all fight, but didn't really do anything at all. Went to the body a bit, but literally didn't really catch him upstairs much whatsoever. I thought Dacres used his feet very well today, and I feel like that is what won him the fight. Like, if he stood there training with Sirenko, he would have lost. But he was on his feet, boxing well behind the jab, following up with some good shots. I thought it was a fairly good, performance from Dacres. I feel like it was an entertaining performance from him as well. I feel like he picked his shots together well, picked his moments well, and kept up a good pace and basically won it. He did win every single round, in my opinion. Just kept the pace up really, really well. The Sirenko pressure didn't really tire him out whatsoever, but I also feel like it's because Sirenko didn't do anything. But again, Dacres was always a moving target. Sirenko couldn't pin him down whatsoever. I feel like I underrated Dacres, and that's why, you can't just rule people out after a first round knockout loss. That's why I feel like a lot of boxing fans, including myself, need to learn. We can't just rule someone out just because they lost in the first round to someone. Like, you can't do that. That was a very good performance from Solomon Dacres tonight. Again, I don't know what his level is right now. I feel like it's very difficult to say, and it's going to be interesting to see what Frank Warren wants to do with him next. But yeah, good, well-disciplined performance from Dacres. Took on short notice as well, and still completely schooled Sirenko. Easily. Like, Sirenko barely put up a fight. It was so easy for Dacres just to control him with that jab. And it was just in Sirenko's face all night. Couldn't deal with it. It was an awkward jab from Dacres as well. I feel like it was a very good disciplined performance from him. Anyway, next up, it gets interesting. Daniel Lapin defeated Louis Edmondson via majority decision. One of the judges had it 95-95. The other two judges had it 96-94 to Lapin. People are saying it was a robbery. That's what, I've got a question mark at the end. Me personally, I scored it a draw, so I don't think it was a robbery. But if there was a winner, then it was Louis Edmondson, in my opinion. Draw, but if there was a winner, it was probably Louis Edmondson. People saying he fought dirty. He had to, though. He had to make it messy. I wouldn't say he fought dirty. He just fought a very messy fight. But again, he had to. But, he got some good moments. Lapin was good at countering behind the jab, but I just feel like Edmondson's messy work, he wasn't doing anything illegal or anything, but his messy work shut down Lapin's rhythm, and Lapin couldn't do anything. And even though Edmondson's work wasn't exactly convincing, he was just doing more than what Daniel Lapin was. He was just simply doing more than him. And that's what he had to do, because he was never going to be able to go in there and outskill someone like Daniel Lapin, who's got a very good long-rangey jab and someone who is very clever with the way he picks his shots. Edmondson just didn't give him time to pick his shots. He just didn't give him time to let him think. But look, he wasn't given the decision in the end. I thought Lapin was very good in the last two rounds. Ninth round especially, Lapin turned it around a lot and was good. And look, he has Oleksandr Usyk traits in him. But again, like, Oleksandr Usyk wouldn't let that kind of thing happen, to be honest with you. But I feel like, it's difficult to be on that level of Oleksandr Usyk. We'll get to his fight in a bit. But yeah, I feel like it was a very bad night for Lapin in the office. But again, he was accurate with his work, though, Daniel Lapin. And I can see why judges might have gave it to him, because he was just convincing and landed cleaner shots than what Louis Edmondson did. Edmondson was very messy the whole fight. But again, there was no other thing for him to do. So you can't go at his game plan. He got his tactics spot on. But again, it was never going to be pretty in that fight for him. It was never going to be pretty for him. But Lapin did pick his shots well when he did throw, and when he was able to take a step back and pick his moments. But again, Lapin's still inexperienced, so, but he has got those Usyk traits in him, in my opinion. But again, that's only his, what, like 12th pro fight? You know, he's still inexperienced. You know, he might have got away with one there, though. He might have got away with one there, but it wasn't a robbery. It was a very, very, very close and tight fight. But again, yeah, I can see a win both ways. But if anything, I probably would have given it to Edmonson just because he was that bit busier overall. But again, he wasn't exactly convincing. But that's my thoughts on that one. Anyway, next up, oh my God. Lawrence Okolie absolutely stinked out the arena against Kevin Lerena. He absolutely stinked it out. It was awful. It was sorry, not the arena. He stunk out the stadium, Lawrence Okolie. That's even worse than stinking out an arena. It was shocking. It was shocking, to be honest with you. He just smothered his work too much. And just hugs, clinches. He's a very long-rangey guy. I literally called it exactly how it went. He's a very long-rangey guy, Okolie. He uses his range well. He's a strong guy. He wouldn't last long with Caballero. He wouldn't really last long against any real top-level heavyweight. Again, Kevin Lerena, he just couldn't shut down the gap. He's just too small for a heavyweight, in my opinion. He's just too small for a heavyweight. And he was just too small for Lawrence. He was just too small to be in there with Lawrence Okolie. That's why he wasn't really able to do much, because he was just too small to manage the range there. And plus, Okolie was just clinching every time. But yeah, he was just too small to manage the range. That's why he couldn't really get much success, because Okolie's a real rangy guy. So Lerena just wasn't able to do much. It's just boring me talking about that fight, to be honest with you, honestly. But yeah, Okolie wins. He gets beat by all the top heavyweights. There we go. Anyway, okay. Next up, then, Oleksandr Usyk knocked out Daniel Dubois. I called it. I said he violently knocked him out. He did. It was easy for Oleksandr Usyk. It was absolutely easy for him. I'm very happy with the result. Called it as well. Usyk just easily shut down the jab of Daniel Dubois. Shut it down, and once that was done, Dubois had no answers. Dubois could rarely go to the body as well, to be honest with you. He could actually rarely go to the body. Usyk, his movement was just too good. Took away the jab of Daniel Dubois. Couldn't set up any work. Usyk is just so good at adjusting. He's so good at adjusting. He got hit a few times, like at the start of round 3. Then Usyk was like, okay, I'm not going to get hit with that again. Then was just countering, good behind the jab. Then you could tell in round 4, Oleksandr Usyk was really onto something. Like, he was actually getting to Dubois more than I think a lot of people think. And I could tell after watching that round, okay, a stoppage is coming here for Oleksandr Usyk. And that's exactly what we saw in the 5th round, bullying with the jab. Catching with some real good flush left hands, and Dubois just didn't have the movement. He just didn't have the IQ to keep away from that left hand of Oleksandr Usyk. Usyk just picked him apart easily, easier than what that last one was, easier than what the first fight was. It was just so easy for Oleksandr Usyk. He's just a generational great. One of the best, in my opinion, definitely top 3 best heavyweights to do it. And skill-wise in the heavyweight division, it's either him or Ali who are the best. Unbelievable stuff from Oleksandr Usyk once again. Won every round, in my opinion, then got the stoppage in the 5th. He was just always a step ahead, Daniel Dubois. Even when Daniel Dubois got success here and there, again, Usyk was just able to adjust. His counters were so good, able to rock Dubois quite a few times throughout the fight, and we could see those signs in round 2, and then it kept on going on for a while. Fantastic stuff there from Oleksandr Usyk once again. Unreal. Anyway, thank you for watching. Speak to you all in the next one.